Whenever you bring on somebody and your payroll pops, your premium has to pop too. So like you can't be a $60,000 a month agency anymore. You have to be an $80,000 a month agency or whatever the number is.
Today, we're going to be talking about the 6 steps that every insurance agency owner needs to know to make sure that they're running a successful insurance business. And not only are we reviewing the 6 steps, we are going into detail on the 6 steps. Courtney and I sit down with Matt Dietz today, and that is exactly what we are breaking down. And this episode is so full of golden nuggets and valuable content that we're actually breaking it into 2 episodes. So make sure that you check out both episodes. With that being said, let's start the show.
One of the best marketing things I have ever done is on this medium. All right. I've interviewed 150 local business owners on my podcast. I invite them in. I have them tell their story. It creates a wonderful piece of content that they do. You make them feel important. They share it with their mom, like they love it, you know, and I've gotten so much business from doing that. Do I even talk about insurance when I do that? No. Have people asked me right after an interview, can I move my insurance to you? Yes. Like it is the best. Now it doesn't have to be podcasting. I tell people that's something that you can do if you want to. You can do small business spotlights, you know, and you can do it on your business page, and you can go to one business a year that you think you're competitive with in your market. So if you're going to write restaurants and you're good at restaurants, you should visit one restaurant a week, meet the owner. I'm doing a small business spotlight. Can I take your picture? Can I ask you 6 questions? Can I take a picture of this? Can I get a picture of the 2 of us? And you do a little write-up on your page, you tag them, and in a year you've been in 52 restaurants, you know, and like they know who you are. You have a way to get to them. Like, what does that cost? Doesn't cost anything. You're probably going to get some free meals out of it too. Like, get out, get in your community. You know, you're a part of your small business community. Yep. Be a part of it.
We spent one of our big goals when we moved into our town and we were opening up our agency was there was this one business owner and everyone said, this is the person that you need to know. Like this person has been here forever. They have super influence in this town. They owned a pizza shop. We got so fat eating pizza every week we went in there because we're like, we were going to make this happen. Do you know the reason that he actually switched his business wasn't because we ate pizza all the time, is because he saw Michael's car at the office more than his car was at his shop. And he said, anyone that works more than I do deserves my business.
Because he was,
and I'm like,
he was hard work. He was.
You mean I didn't have to eat all that effing pizza?
You have to gain 20 pounds.
Like, damn, dude, pizza's not even my favorite thing. Yeah. I'm over here like, fine. I mean, I'm gluten free. Give me the carbs. I don't give a shit. Let's go. Yeah.
Now we're gonna go be best friends with the gym owner across town. Right?
Yeah, It's the same building. We were definitely having to do that. Okay, I love this.
We smashed marketing.
We did. Let's get into time management.
Let's.
Okay, what goes where? What do we delegate? When do we delegate? We're new agents.
All right, gosh. So those are 2 different things. So for time management, I struggle with time management my whole life.
Yeah.
Okay. So I knew that early in my career it was going to be a problem. So I started reading and I did all this other stuff. I came across a book by a guy named Dave Lacani. He wrote a book called The Power of an Hour. Essentially, it is take 1 hour a day and disappear from everywhere. You know, put your phone on airplane mode, shut your door, put a sign on the door that says "Leave me alone." But you have to be really intentional with this time. You have to have a list of things you're going to do, or one thing you're going to do during that hour. So depending on what you need to get done, if you want to write life insurance, for example, you're going to say, all right, I'm going to call 50 people and I'm going to get some life appointments. So you shut the door and you just start banging on the phone and you get your life appointments. Okay. If you look, this was my list today. I had 16 things I needed to do. I came in, I didn't even turn my computer on. I was like, all right, what do I need to get done today? I wrote down 16 things. I knew I could do them all in an hour. Okay. So between 12:30 and 1:30, that's what I did today. And I have 3 things left that I'm going to be able to do by the end of the day. All right. So like that is one of the most important things that I learned in time management. I couldn't block my entire day. I couldn't do it. This job is unpredictable, and you could be knocked off center with one phone call, one person that comes in your office, one problem with a staff member, and it can derail your whole day. And then you feel like you failed because you didn't get through your schedule that day. I have to keep a pretty loose schedule for me. The 1 hour a day though, I mean, that can really change your life too. 1 hour. Do you know how much you can do in 1 hour if you're really focused? I don't think people realize how distracted they are. It is bananas. All right. So giving your dedicated time to a task for an entire hour, you will probably finish it in half the time. And you'll be like, holy shit, I have another half an hour, and once you learn that, you can get excited about getting into your hour. Like, God, I can get a lot done in 1 hour. Some people do 2 hours, 3 hours, depending on how your schedule works. So that's one thing that really, really helped for me, is write down everything that you need to get done that day, find an hour and and attack it. That's one way. Okay. As far as delegating goes, if you want to get your time back, like you should learn how to delegate everything that you don't want to do. Like the stuff that I delegate to Meg is, like Meg will quote commercial policies for me. She will sell commercial insurance for me. I'll have her call claims adjusters and ask about coverage. I will have her do reviews for me. I will have her help clients with their workers' comp audit. I will have her do things that other agents don't delegate away. Okay. The right team members will take on more. I think most agents get 60 to 70% out of their team. They will take on more, and the right team members will be proud that you're giving them more to do. I know that sounds a little weird, but like they like that you're trusting them to do this stuff, and they will take it on and they'll do it with pride. We don't want to burn them out. Meg runs my agency's 4,000 policies. I have one CSR. She does everything. She doesn't get behind. She's very good at what she does. Okay. She does things. She does them quickly. She does them professionally, and she knocks it all. You tell other agents that, they don't believe me. They're like, how the hell do you have one person running a 4,000 policy agency? And I tell them, that's all I've ever known. That's all I've ever known, So, I just kept delegating and delegating and delegating. And she's just like, okay, fine. And she just takes it all. So if you can learn how to delegate and get all of that stuff off of your plate, and you can really be productive with the time that you have, if you can do those two things, you're going to see more green lights and more blue skies. And you're going to have an opportunity to market more and to sell more, which is what most agents want to be doing.
Yep. I would agree. And I'm glad that you just brought up the 4,000, because I want this to be an expander for maybe tenured agent that's listening to this right now. Because what we used to be told, Matt, I don't know if you ever heard this, but it was like a CSR per like 1,000 to 1,500 policies or households, right? Well, with technology, a lot of this has been automated. It's much more efficient. So it's made that one individual much more powerful at what they can and cannot do, to where I bet that you could be 5,000 and she could still manage it, if I had to guess, with the way you've talked about Meg. So don't put yourself into a position or a corner of thinking 10 years ago the same advice you got is the same advice you should be taking today, because it is much different.
I want to dive into delegation a little bit, because the thing that I see is agents tend to delegate too quickly, and they tend to delegate everything, and then they're left with the things that they don't want to do. So my advice would be, when you're getting started, you are doing everything. You are literally in charge and responsible for all of the things, because there's nobody else there. You haven't trained them yet. But the thing that I would pay attention to is, what are the things that are sucking your time that in 2 years you don't want to be doing anymore? Those are the processes. That's the step-by-step that you need to start creating right now. So I know it's a lot to ask, but in the beginning, really be thinking about, okay, in 2 years, I do not want to be the person that's responsible for this. So what is the process that I have to build? What is the system that I have to build that I can plug somebody in? Because what happens is usually we're going around and we're doing the thing and then we're like, we need a warm body, but we don't have any system. We don't have anything to plug that person into. So then all the things that we're like chugging along have to stop so we can train this person. So in hindsight, after going through this multiple times, I would start building the process of, like, admin's always an easy one that you should delegate out right away. That would be the first thing. Like all of your task work that can be done by somebody else that's not you, I would start building out processes and systems, and also accountability measures. You talked about that as one of the things of not only just the process, how are we holding somebody accountable to this?
Right. Yeah. No, that's smart. What a lot of newer agents run into as well is that they have to have staff. In some programs, they have to have staff members.
Yes.
And so they're running an agency. They have 2 staff members. It's like their first day, and like the poor agents, they don't know what they don't know, and they don't know how to do 60% of the job yet. And so how can you train away stuff that you don't even know how to do first?
Yeah.
And so it can be a hot mess in the beginning. What I tell those agents, I was like, look, these employees are going to be handled a little bit differently than if you were a seasoned agent and bringing someone on. What I would want you to do is use them to help you learn some things, right? So, and I'll be like, look, this is going to be a team effort, you guys. All right. Like, I know I'm the agent, I'm the owner, I'm your boss, all that stuff, but there are things that I don't know and I'm going to need your help. So there are going to be times where, for example, somebody's going to call and say, I need a quote for a boat and I don't know how to quote a boat. So I'll be like, hey, I need you to learn how to quote a boat and go quote it up. And I need you to bring it back and teach it to me. While you're doing that, I'm going to learn what this billing problem is all about. And we're going, so you can double your efforts and work together. It's not ideal. That system sucks. I think it's a shame that they have to have 2 people working for them that they don't know how to, they don't even know how to train. They don't even know how to do their job yet. How can you train it away? It sucks that they're put in that position, but that's the best way I can think of, because you can learn faster if you're doing it together. And and I think they appreciate it too. They're like, oh, okay. So it empowers them. It empowers them to solve problems. And later down the road, if they stick, they'll be solving problems on their own, which is what you want them doing anyway.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
I love that because when you teach somebody, you're going to learn it faster. You're going to retain the information. And you said something earlier with processes and systems. So not only documenting this on paper, but 75% of people are visual learners. So if you have the ability to not only document on paper, but also use a software like Loom or something of that nature to record yourself doing this, then when you hire that next person, you automatically have it now on paper and visual to where you plug them into your system and say, hey, this is how you do this, do it, and then I'm going to test you out of it, basically. So just for those that are building their own processes and systems, specifically with like the servicing side of things, that's the easiest way to do it, is get it on paper, record it on video, save it in your software, and then you build your own service training platform, which is fantastic.
Yeah. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about budget?
Yes. Let's talk about money.
Let's talk about money. So let's talk about like when you bring on somebody in your agency, and let's say you've been at it for about a year or something like that, you're ready to staff up. Okay. So maybe you're bringing someone else on. I don't care what role you're bringing them on for. Your premium has to increase. Okay. So let's say you have 2 people on your team right now. Let's say you're writing $60,000 in premium. You figured some stuff out and this and that, but maybe your 2 people are producers and you have built, you got a book of business now that's the phone's ringing and there are problems that need to be solved. So it's time to get a CSR. So you bring on a CSR. Whenever you bring on somebody and your payroll pops, your premium has to pop too. So like you can't be a $60,000 a month agency anymore. You have to be an $80,000 a month agency or whatever the number is that's going to make sense for you. Yep. How you jump from 60 to 80 is going to be, you're going to have to figure that out. In some places, your CSR is going to have to be responsible. Maybe you want them responsible for that $20,000 and that's part of their job. Okay. You're going to cross sell the hell out of this book. Yep. Part of your job is you got to bring on $20,000 in premium. That's totally possible. Everybody that worked for me for my first 12 years did everything. Okay. They did everything because they had to. Yep. They had to write policies for me. That was the only way I could pay them. Okay. And they knew it. They all had to write 20 policies a month. That was it. If they couldn't do that, they were out. Okay. So you can have your CSR do that and manage your book, or you can have your CSR come in, absorb more of the work from your producers and yourself. Maybe the CSR is quoting for you now for them. Quoting's easy. You can teach them how to quote. They're converting. Maybe they're onboarding, new clients now instead of the producers, and they're taking that time away from the producers so the producers can produce more. Yep. So the producers can go from 25 to 35,000 or something like that. But whenever your payroll goes up, your premium has to go up too.
Amen.
You have to think that way. For every dollar that you're spending in your agency, not just for payroll, for everything that comes in. If you're going to invest in a marketing program that costs you $1,000 a month, it better be driving $10,000 a premium a month.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the way I see it.
Yep.
Must too.
So I think some people overlook their budget. For me, it's really simple. Like, how much are you bringing in and how much is going out? Like, I keep it really, really simple. And if you got stuff in there that you're spending money on that's not bringing premium in, you need to get rid of it. I mean, there are utilities and stuff like that. We have to have phones. Well, the phone's probably bringing as much premium as anything, so you really have to know your budget. I'm working with a lot of agents right now that are struggling to be profitable because they're buying so many leads. Okay. Like this is, and they know that they only have so much runway left. These are newer agents. They're spending $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a month. Yep. On leads. And they call me and like, Matt, when do you start making money in this business? And I was like, tell me a little about your business. He's like, well, I'm bringing in 15,000. I'm spending 18. I was like, all right, what are you spending on payroll and leads? And he's like, $12,000 a month. And I didn't say anything. He went, oh, okay. He's spending $7,000 a month on internet leads. That's a house, you guys. You could buy a house for $7,000 a month. So it's kind of, it's like an addiction. Okay. You're afraid to get rid of the leads because you think all of your business is going to dry up. Okay. So you got to keep pumping in these $7,000 a month, but you don't, you really don't. You could actually write less premium if you cut your internet lead budget altogether and make more money.
Right.
And that's something that I'm teaching people now, especially with some of the bonuses that my company offers. Yep. If you reach a certain number, you'll double your new business commissions. Okay. So if you're spending $7,000 a month on internet leads and you're writing $70,000 in new business commissions, let's see if this math is going to work. You're going to make $14,000, but you're going to net $7,000, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. If you drop your internet leads and you wrote 40, you're going to make 8 and you're going to net 8. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this is one of those things, and if you have to pay yourself from day one, then you're going to have to get creative. Period. Like you got to you have to produce. Like my goal was always to produce enough to pay for our team's base salaries, like from my straight production.
That's still your mindset.
That is still
you
my
are
mindset.
Still in that mindset today.
Yeah.
With Weaver Sales Academy, he looks at numbers and he's like, I have to make this many sales to take care of all the expenses for our entire company. Like that's how he.
Because
looks
then everything that the team produces is just like icing on top of the cake, and so. It's but with that, so there's and Matt, I love that you're talking about that because there's two mindsets here. It's, if you have the ability to invest a ton of money into your business and grow the hell out of it super fast, then do it. Because I do believe that the first 3 to 5 years of your career is extremely important from my experience and what I've seen with agency owners and business owners. But that doesn't mean you just throw money away. Like I want to clarify this. It doesn't mean that you're okay with just throwing money away. And that's why what we talked about in the very beginning with the 5 new business acquisition strategies is so important. And that's what you're hinting at, Matt. It's like, okay, because if we decrease our budget with internet leads, that doesn't mean that production has to drop, even though that's the example you gave. Like In the example, I know a lot of business owners that they cut cold turkey off internet leads, and their business actually increases because it forces them to go out and generate business from other avenues that they weren't doing, which typically have higher closing ratios, bigger households, just better business in general. And so
I mean, do you know how much more money you make when that happens?
Oh, you make so much more money.
That's the goal, is to cut the internet lead budget altogether and make this and produce the same. Like, that's the goal you're getting at. I say make less just to make a point. Like, you can make, I'm not telling you to write less. Yep. The goal is for you to write the same amount or more, but you've just saved $7,000 a month that you can do whatever you want with. You can keep that money if you want to. You could reinvest. You could hire 2 more people if you want to. You could buy a Ferrari. Like, I don't care what you would do with that money. It's up to you, but it's real money. Yeah. Okay. Like, this isn't monopoly money. I still am shocked of what people paid for these leads. Like, I could never, ever do it. I never wanted to, but $100,000 a month on leads just makes my stomach turn. It's real money. It's college education. Yeah. It's just, so,
and
that's how I feel about
here's
it.
also the one, no, because we didn't have the ability either. I mean, with the company we represented, we didn't own anything. We were kids. We didn't have credit, so we couldn't go out and get money. Neither one of us are from wealthy families, so it's not like we could get family money. So we also just smashed the phones, community, social media. That's how we grew our business. But the one thing that is also not talked about that I want to just hint on this before we conclude, Matt, is not only are you spending a ton of your budget on internet leads, but what one thing that most business owners never talk about is the lapse can on that spend in 6 to 12 months, right? So it's one thing to be spending a ton of money on internet leads to grow your business and hitting your production goals, but make sure you keep a really good eye on that 6, 12, 18-month retention number, because in my experience, not only are you losing money on the front end, but you're also losing money on the back end unless you're playing the bonus game, all right? And there is something to be said about playing bonus games, all right, and comp plans. But that is one thing that I find that very few people talk about, that spend a shit ton on internet lead marketing, but have a 40, 50, 60% lapse can, meaning that out of 100 policies in 6 months, only 40 of those are still on the books.
Right.
All right.
You have to understand what business you're bringing in.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is not, that's not
on
a
the flip
business model.
Yeah, and on the other side of that, if you're doing it the other way and your retention ratio is 80, with the right, you're profiting more from the way you're getting business, and you're keeping it longer. Like, it's double.
Yes,
so it's significant.
And I know ego plays a part here, and and recognition, and we're all competitive. But I can promise you, if you're writing, let's just keep the math easy for me right now, 100 policies a month, but someone else is writing 150 policies a month, but they have a 60% lapse can and you have a 20% lapse can, you're actually growing your business at a faster rate and making more money than they are.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
If I just did the math quick in my head. Either way, it doesn't matter. I hope you all
Matt's a
understand
math
the
major.
point. You're the mathematician.
You're really close.
All right.
I mean, 60% of 150 is 90. So, like, yeah, 90 and 80. So in like 2 cycles, you'd be ahead writing 100.
And that's the thing that we have to understand is, what's the marketing spend? How much does it cost to acquire this customer? And then what is their lifetime value? How long is this customer here? Those are 2 very, very important numbers. You need to know how much it costs to acquire business and how long they stick on the books. What's their value? And once you know that, then it's a money in, money out. Then you know, if I spend $10 or $100 or $1,000, this is my expectation. But that requires, on the front end, really paying attention to these numbers, paying attention to marketing spend, and knowing, I know we all have powers that be that guide us in certain directions on what we should be investing in our business. But I want you to look at this as, if you have X amount of money, what would you spend it on? Like, how would you acquire business? Not the way that everyone thinks you should. You have $10,000, get creative with that. Like, how do I make that money work for me? What's the best use of that? Is it a person? Is it more marketing? Is it more internet leads? Or do I need to hire a service? Or what does that look like? So I think that that's huge. But also, you're talking about your lap scan, your growth. Like you need to know what number you're trying to outrun too. Like
don't let ego get in the way of your business, man. It's your business. Run your business the way that you want to run your business, not the way that you're being told or not the way that it's being mirrored. Just in my experience, a lot of individuals at the top of the charts are not always 100% transparent with everything that's going on within the business, their paychecks, the in and out, the team turnover. So that's the biggest thing and nothing wrong with I love the top of the charts. All right. This is not knocking on any specific person. I'm competitive myself. I always wanted to be number one, but don't let that get in the way of being able to provide for yourself and your family. All right. Like create a business that aligns with you, your vision, and just put your freaking blinders on. It's the same reason why racehorses have blinders. Like, man, just run your freaking race. And if you run the race that you're envisioning, that you want, that aligns with your value system, your beliefs, the business of your dreams, everything will work out the way that you're envisioning. Just put those blinders on, ask for help when you need help, and run your race.
Right. And that goes all the way back to the beginning of what I said when I was starting, asking agents, why are they in this business? What is the purpose of this business? What are their dreams? What are their aspirations? And then we help build the model on how to get them there. And if they're on pace and they're hitting their numbers and they're on their way to their dream and everything's beautiful, why are you looking at other people and how they're doing it? Why are you comparing? Like we've all heard comparison is the thief of joy, but like, why are you looking at who's doing better than you when you are on track to hit the dreams that you got into this business to do in the first place? Who cares, right? Great. Good for them. Don't even look at them. You're on pace for your dream. Do we need to adjust that?
Yep.
No, we can, but that just gets in your head and messes you up. I like to be on the top of boards too. I have a chip on my shoulder and like I feel the need to prove myself we could go, if you want to talk to my therapist, like we could go and talk to her about that, but like there that's another story. But you know what, it's worked for me, but you don't have to. We want to point you towards your dream and we want to get you there. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. Take care of your team, take care of your family, take care of yourself.
Hell yeah. And on that note,
Matt, this has been awesome, brother. As always, we always love these conversations. If someone wanted to, because you run amazing podcasts for insurance professionals, you coach insurance agents, you run a great agency. So if somebody wanted to follow you, connect with you, listen to your podcast, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, there are a lot of ways. So my podcast, I have two. There's one called Agency Launch where I talk about running it, what it's like to run an agency. So I talk staffing, marketing, sales, and retention. I have another one called Simply Explaining Insurance, which is all about product. So if you want to learn all about our product, I just did my 300th episode of Simply Explaining Insurance last week.
Hell yeah.
Agencylaunch.net is where you can find me on my coaching program. I have a texting community. If you want to send me a text, 208-213-8809 and send me the word free. I will give you a fat resource with podcasts, YouTube channels, a list of books, including Michael's, downloadable assets. It's got more stuff. It's got a ton of like really good stuff with stuff that I've vetted from people that I really trust. So I'm all about sharing information. There are really good people in this coaching community and you guys are right on the top of that list. I think we should all just be pumping each other up because there are thousands, tens of thousands of people out there. There's plenty of people for all of us to help. And if we can help them, let's help them. That's why I love what you guys are doing.
Well, feelings mutual, brother. So, Matt, this has been awesome, man. We always appreciate these conversations. I feel like we could riff for another few hours. So, man, thank you for all of those of you who tuned in today. Thank you so much for your time and support as always. Time and attention are by far our most important assets, and we truly do appreciate you spending time with us on the Buzz. Go out. And if you have any questions, reach out to us, reach out to Matt. Other than that, go out and make it great. Matt, thanks again, brother.
Thanks, you guys.